Hello parents, wanted to make a video for Centrikid Junior Camp. Man, it is here. We are less than 2 weeks away. Can you believe that? This year is just clicking by. I did this last year for our teen camp and it seemed to work very well. It's always hard when you're trying to schedule a meeting, get everyone there in person, and then sometimes people miss. And so I am making a video meeting. Now here's what I need you to know. If you need to look me face to face and say, you're taking care of my baby and you come talk to me, I'm ready for all of that. But if we were having a meeting on Sunday, a week before camp, this is what I would cover in that meeting. And so wanted to send it out. You can watch it on your own time. Please watch it if you have any questions. So my goal for this quick video is to give you those final details for Centrikid Junior Camp and just hopefully clarify any of your questions that you have as far as what does that look like, the day we're leaving, and all of those things like that. So let me jump into it. In the description in this video, I'm going to provide all the links, all of the things you can click on right there, anything that you're lacking, and any information that you might need will be in that. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. So a couple things that you might want to check out. Centrikid Camp has put together a parent information page. You can check that out. A lot of good information on there, frequently asked questions. It's got a packing list. I'm going to put a link specifically to the packing list. One thing, I've talked to some parents who have gone to Centrikid or sent their kids to Centrikid Camp before. They do kind of you can do if you send the payment with the kid, they can have like a welcome gift. Those are completely optional. Don't feel the pressure to do that. Some parents have said their kid loves it. Some said they don't care. You'll see that on some of the packing lists and the parent information page. Just know that's not an expectation from us, but if something that you want to do will be on there. So look through all of that. I've also attached the Camp Devo. It's kind of got the theme that they're going for. It's a really cool theme, talking about your heart going beneath the surface, having a pure heart, a humble heart, a heart for God. I think it's going to be really good. And then I've put on there the waiver. If you haven't filled out the waiver, your student will need that waiver in order to attend camp. As far as payments go, I know a couple of you have talked to me. If you still have a payment, make sure you get that payment in as soon as possible, just so we can get everything taken care of for that day. Let's talk about just leaving for camp the day of. So this would be Monday, June 5th. That we're leaving for camp. Check-in is 1 to 4 at the camp. It's about an hour drive. We're going to be at Gardner-Webb University, so I don't like to be rushed, especially when it's a new camp that I've never been to. I like to get my bearings a little bit. So what I'm going to have people do is meet at the church at 11:30. Let me tell you what that's going to look like. We're going to do a check-in. We'll have load-in of the luggage and all that stuff. I'm going to give final instructions to the students. And then everybody else ask about the room assignments. I'll give room assignments once we get to the camp. I do have a plan on all of that. So from what I understand, we're going to be staying in the college dorms of Gardner-Webb, which they kind of have the suite system, which has 2 beds in a room and then a bathroom and then 2 beds in a room. And so I try to be fairly strategic in who I put with different things on that. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to reach out. But as far as what to bring, refer to the packing list on that. Those things they know their camp better than I do. So, but obviously bring athletic attire, bring bedding for a twin size bed is typically what they have there, and then towels and all of that stuff there. And then one thing I'll ask, if you'll limit. We had some people say, I want to bring a trunk. I'm like, a trunk? What are you talking about? But if you'll limit a bag to 1 bag, even if it has to be a big bag. Now, your bedding doesn't need to go in that bag, so you can put the bedding under the seat and all this stuff. But don't bring 3-4 bags. That's just difficult to keep up with. Another thing for that Monday would be to make sure your student eats lunch before we leave. So I'm going to put that on you parents, that responsibility. In the past, we've done lunch and we end up just throwing that food away. Some students eat, some students don't. So we just said, hey, no lunch, just eat lunch before you leave. We'll give them a t-shirt. We have a super cool t-shirt for them. and that we designed. And then if you have anything that your student might need that week, if they have medications that they need, if they have something, please let me know on that so that way we can make sure that they're taken care of on that. So let me just run through. The camp's got their own list of rules. You can see that on the parent guide. They're pretty straightforward. Don't break things, don't set things on fire, all of that stuff. Let me tell you our rules as a church and as a group, and these are I'll hold our students to these. So I don't think this is going to be an issue. A lot of these students are younger, but you never know. We do not allow cell phones at our camp. We found that to be a great resource for the students to be able to unplug. And so let me just tell you, if your student has a phone and he or she brings a phone, I will take the phone. And so I know a lot of these students don't. You say, I got to talk to my baby. I am providing you all the list of numbers of the chaperones who are going. I'll tell you who that is in a minute. And you can talk to them anytime. You can give us a call. We'll do proof of live, all that stuff. So, but that is a rule we hold strong to, no cell phones. We don't do any guy and girl contact. I know with junior camp, that's not as much as an issue as teen camp. Still have cooties and stuff like that. But just if you want to let your student know, I'll let them know. One rule that I'm big on is we participate in as much as possible at camp. I don't really deal with, I don't want to do that. No, you came to camp, we do it. Now, obviously, if there's a physical limitation or something like that, I do have a good pulse on, man, this kid looks overheated. Like, I'm not going to make your student do something that's going to put them in danger. But if they just don't want to do something, we're not going to do that. This camp does provide track times. If you have not gotten me your students' track times for camp, that may be something that you want to just shoot me a text and say, hey, here's what they were looking for on that. I'm not completely familiar with how that system works, but I'm sure we'll figure it out once we get there. But it is some opportunities for students to engage in activities that they find interesting. Another rule that we have, and I'm very serious about this one, again, I don't think any of these are going to be issues with junior camp, but I like to explain to parents ahead of time. Once we are in the dorms for lights out, nobody leaves the room. We don't do pranks, we don't do sneaking out, we don't do any of that. That is an offense I'm very serious about, to the point that I will call a parent and say, hey, listen, we got to have you come get your kid. I haven't had to do that very often, but I do like to be straightforward and go, hey, listen, these are the expectations on that. And then the last rule that we have is, and junior camp is a little bit different than we do for teen camp, but junior camp, no one goes anywhere without a leader. I don't know this camp. I don't know the people at this camp. I know our leaders and I trust them. And so nobody will go anywhere without one of our leaders present at junior camp. And I think as a parent, you would appreciate that rule. So, and then the last one is we only know our group. And this is more just so you know my mentality as a leader. I'm sure these are good people at this camp. I would not be going if I thought it was dangerous, but at the end of the day, I trust the people that I'm taking as chaperones, and I do not trust anybody else. And so I want you to know that as how I lead there. So those are our general rules for camp. If you have any questions on those, please let me know. But I'll be explaining those to the students before we leave, but like you to know ahead of time. And if your child is one of those ones you feel like you need to brief them before, go ahead. And so let me tell you how I have handled things. I've run a bunch of camps. I'm not an expert by any means, but I do have a good handle on how to manage camps. And let me tell you how I have managed them. I look at taking your students for a week as an extreme responsibility. I do not take it lightly. I do not take it flippantly, and especially with these younger, I know a lot of these students, some of these are going to be the first time they're away from home. In an occasion like this, I take that very, very seriously. And so I'm not flippant in that. However, I'm also not nervous about it. I have done things like this before, and we're very excited about this camp. Let me tell you how I operate as kind of the key leader of this group. If there's a minor problem at camp, if we're talking, bad attitude, somebody lost a bag, or, a minor problem like that, even a minor physical problem, a sprained ankle, someone overheated, there's a good chance I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to call you for every little thing. I'm not going to call you if a student needs to be consoled or something like that. If there's a major problem, I'm talking just, you know, we've worked with an attitude over and over and over again. We just need a parent, or we just haven't, you know, occasionally we have had to send students home from camp. I don't anticipate in that. But if there's a major problem, a major physical problem, major spiritual problem, something like that, I will call you on that. And the same thing spiritually. I tell our leaders, camp is one of those things. Sometimes students feel safe for the first time, and so they reveal hard things. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to loop parents in on that. You know, especially if it's something that regards to abuse or some sort of hard thing they're dealing with on all of that. And so if you have any questions on that, please let me know. But I like people to know that you don't have to worry about minor problems. I can handle minor problems. I expect these kids to be kids. I expect to have to convince them to shower. All of those things, like, you know, but major problems, I will be reaching out. And fortunately, we're only an hour away. So if there is an issue, if something does go wrong, if your student just 3 days in, they're just struggling and they got to go home, they can't handle it, it's okay. We'll work with you. But if you have any questions on that. So let me let you know about the chaperones that are going. As far as the key point person, that is going to be myself. I'm going to be going. We're taking Miss Stephanie Bollinger as well. She's one of the workers, leaders in our daycare, and she's been graciously taking off work to be able to go with us, and she's great. She's kind of the point person for our young ladies. And then we had an opportunity to take some of our older students, as they call them, teachers' assistants at this camp, but some really solid kids who they love the Lord and they want to be in ministry. Macy Cook is one of those students, and then JJ McIntosh, some of the key really servant leaders in our church who have a desire to love and ministry to students. And just so you know, I've instructed them that they're not making any major decisions. They're there to help and encourage and support your students and to lift up mine and Miss Stephanie's arms in all of this. I am taking the lead responsibility for everything. Miss Stephanie's kind of the point person for the ladies. So I'm going to attach all of their phone numbers, JJ and Macy included, in this description. And so, again, if you have any questions, you want to reach out, please let us know. And so the camp's at Gardner Webb University. I've got the address on there. I've got the Centrikid Summer Camp telephone number on there. But I think it's pretty straightforward. I know for some of you, this is maybe your baby's first camp. But this camp I've been very pleased with the level of preparedness of this camp. They require a child protection policy training. Their training you have to go through for each leader. So I think that's an A+ thing. I think I wish more camps did that. Their waivers are good. I think it's going to be a really good time. And so hopefully I have covered everything. I just want you to know my final charge to you is just a pastoral charge would be, camp is just a tool. This is just an opening of your students' eyes to what is possible in the kingdom of God. But real growth, real change starts at home. So please be in prayer with me for these students. Camp changed my life at this age. I was called to preach at 11 years old at a junior camp. And I remember specifically standing on that stage, and it was a moment for me. And so I very much believe that this isn't just a fun opportunity for students to do, but this could be a game changer for them. So again, if you have any questions, if we need to connect on Sunday, let me know. But just wanted to send this video meeting out and hopefully to answer any questions that you might have in the upcoming week. I love you guys. Looking so forward to junior camp, and grateful for you entrusting your student to us. We love you.